Hi guys, Ren here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'm going to be talking about time trial helmets. Now the one I've been using for this past season is the Kask Mistral. There have been many questions about it, so just to sum it up, it's essentially a track helmet. It's a fairly traditional long tail helmet, as you can see. On the front it's quite narrow. It's not all that vented, as you would expect in a track helmet. Magnetically removable visor, which is pretty much a standard feature, and an exhaust port at the back. Comes in this nice black and anthracite gloss color, as you can see, nicely shining there in the camera. This has come out in aero testing as the fastest option for me, and I've been using it ever since. One thing that you need to note about the shape is this little trip line that comes over the top to help the airflow. So yeah, overall much faster than the helmet I was previously using for me, which was the Giro Airhead. This came out better with my position. It fits, well, basically as if it was custom, very nicely and snugly sits on my back. But there is a very similar version of this helmet from Kask that's slightly newer. And I think what it really is an updated version of this helmet. And it's what most of Team Ineos riders use. So even though this is pretty much the perfect helmet for me, it just kept at the back of my head that what if this new version is actually faster. So if all goes well, we will be able to test these head to head in an aero test. But for now, let's just talk about the other helmet first. So this one is called the Bambino Pro EVO, and it doesn't really have much in common with the Bambino itself, or the Bambino Pro, because as you can see, again, it's a long tail helmet unlike those two, and it's actually very similar to this one. If you have a look at it, there's slightly more volume at the back and the ending is different, but let's start at the front. So the front profile is exactly the same. The slots that sit at your forehead or above your forehead are also exactly the same. Such as the visor, that's also exactly the same. Same goes for the retention system, the padding, etc. So very similar in that regard. The finish is slightly different, so no anthracite detailing on here. Where it really changes is the back of the helmet. Now, as you can see, it's a slightly different curvature. It's also a couple of millimeters longer, but really not noticeable if you put them head to head or back to back. And the tail has a bit of a more pointier, meteor shape. Also, the exhaust port is no longer at the end of the shape, but at the bottom. So that's slightly different. And also the trip line doesn't just go through here, but extends all the way here, and it's not as deep. So will these changes make it into a faster helmet for me? Will there be a couple of watts in that? Hopefully I will be able to test that and answer that question precisely. Rest assured, it's very similar, so you can't really go wrong. If the Mistral fits you, this probably will fit you just as well and perform just as well. One thing that you need to note if you're a bigger rider is that, as far as I know, well, this one surely is only made in an M size, and if I remember correctly, then the Mistral as well. For me it's not a problem because I have a small head. I'm top of S size, bottom of M size, so no real issue for me. Although I have to note that the wide matte drone wide body, which is a big helmet, big with long tail, also performed very well for me, but this was the Mistral was slightly quicker. So will we see a new helmet for me for the next season? we've yet to find out, and really I'm curious to see what it's all about. So if you'd like to know more about the result, then stay tuned. And if you'd like to know more about the kit that I'm going to use for the next season, hopefully take that national TT title this time, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.